You are tuned in to On Air with Chris Shanafelt. Welcome back On Air with Chris Shanafelt as we continue our Player Spotlight series with the 2020 NFL Draft Class. I'm now joined by Christian Rozeboom out of South Dakota State University. He's certainly got one of the best names in the NFL draft, especially for playing the linebacker position. Christian, I appreciate you taking the time to chat this evening. How's everything going?
It's good. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So I want to start off by familiarizing the listeners with your journey, Christian. So coming out of high school in Iowa, you were a three-time All-District player. You're also the Class 2A Defensive Player of the Year. But you're also a standout at running back, rushing for over 1,400 yards, averaging nearly 8 yards per carry as a senior. What was the recruiting process like for you coming out of high school, and how did you ultimately land at South Dakota State? And how did the linebacker position become your permanent position?
Our team had went to state my junior year, so we kind of got recognized a little bit as a team. And then going into the next year is when I got that preseason Player of the Year for the 2A or whatnot. And but on the recruiting side, I wasn't very heavily recruited at all. I just had a few D2 offers. And then some NAI, just that my family went to, that was close to home. And then South Dakota State came. I went to a camp there in the summer before my senior year. And then they sent an official visit there in, I guess, probably January. And just kind of knew that it was the right fit for me. And the coaches invested in you as a person, not just a football player. The education side of it, they had what I wanted to study, which was animal science. So that was something that was important to me too, coming out of high school. And I'd just say the proximity to home was a big thing too, where it was far enough where I could get away, but at the same time I could get back if I needed to, stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, it was my only Division I offer of any kind. So I wanted to kind of make the most of that opportunity, obviously, and just make those coaches proud that believed in me when other coaches obviously didn't believe in me. So,
and you certainly did that. I'm sure if coaches, not only in the FCS, but I'm sure if FBS programs knew what you're able to do, obviously now easy to say looking back, but if they knew the type of player that you were going to be turning into for the Jackrabbits, I'm sure you would have had a few more offers on the table, Christian. You would go on and redshirt. You made an instant impact on the defensive side of the ball. You're a runner-up for the Jerry Rice Award given to the top freshman in the FCS on either side of the football, as you racked up 132 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. You did win the Doug Miller Award, which is given to the team's defensive MVP. Very rarely do we see a redshirt freshman come in and do what you did, Christian. How special of a season was that for you to start off your Jackrabbits playing career, and what allowed you to explode onto the scene in the fashion that you did?
I would just say a lot of preparation, physically and mentally, to get to that point. And just credit that to kind of my upbringing, the hard work that my parents instilled in me, but also the coaches, and specifically my linebacker coach, Coach Rogers. He worked with me a ton, just on the mental side of it, the X's and O's, getting me prepared. Because I obviously didn't know what I was kind of getting myself into, and he really took me under and just explained what it was gonna be like and what I needed to know just from the get-go. And yeah, just starting 4 years was just a huge blessing that I got to play just as much football as I could. I maxed out my time there at SDSU, and that's something I'll always be thankful for. So.
Yeah, you started 4 years. You're named a team captain 3 of those years, Christian. How, the linebacker position in general, when thinking of the defensive side of the football, thinking about football, I mean, you're kind of looked at as the quarterback of the defense, you automatically think of the linebacker, or at least one of the linebackers, in being one of the leaders of the team. How much did it mean for you to be voted team captain 3 of your 4 years at South Dakota State?
Yeah, honestly, that's the, achievement that I'm most proud of. Just being seen as a leader from such a young age by my teammates was something that I'll always be obviously thankful for too. But yeah, like you said, the linebacker, especially the middle linebacker in our system, has to be the quarterback of the defense, like you said. And yeah, just at such a young age, being put into that role. I think my teammates around me had a lot of older guys, obviously, that were around me that had been through it and helped me through it. Jesse Bobbitt was a senior when I was a freshman. Also, Dallas Brown. Those guys really took me under their wing and showed me what it was like. Like you said, from a young age. So
you would go on and register over 100 tackles in the following 3 consecutive seasons to cap off your collegiate career, Christian. Not only would you make your presence felt by getting to the ball carrier, but you had a knack of stealing the ball and creating turnovers as well. You finished your career with 8 interceptions, 8 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries. I mean, you seem to always be around the ball. Is that something that you take pride in, that knowing that your coaches can rely on you to stop a play if you're not going to be there and create a turnover? I mean, where's that come from?
I would just say that's just the goal of, our SDSU defense as a whole. Just getting in the film frame before the play's over, and just making a difference on each play. Obviously doing your job and then running to the ball and getting there and causing havoc. And that was something that I took pride in too, is just getting to the ball every single time and making my presence known, I guess. So.
Again, we're chatting with 2020 NFL Draft prospect, linebacker out of South Dakota State University's Christian Rozeboom. And Christian, there's been a ton of talent that has come out of South Dakota State recently. Looking at the offensive side of the ball, quarterback Taryn Christian had a stellar career there, as did wide receiver Jake Weineke, and tight end Dallas Goedert, who would go on to be a second-round draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Just the other day, I had running back, fullback Mikey Daniel on. He's pursuing this same NFL career as you are. What was it like going up against such a star-studded offense, every day in practice throughout your career, Christian? I mean, rarely, if ever, would you play against an offense that had that much offensive firepower come game day.
Yeah. I guess going through this process now, a lot of the scouts will ask you who's the best player you played against, and I said Dallas Goedert because, I've went against him for 2 years, and, he's the best player that I played against, and just going against him a ton in practice and everything. But, yeah, like you said, it's going against an offense like that really prepares you well for the games because, quite honestly, the teams that we were playing, a lot of the teams weren't obviously as good as our offense. We had really prolific offense for a lot of years, and we still do. So, yeah, like I said, that was something that really helped us out in preparation for each game.
Of course, you guys have one of the more bigger fan bases in the FCS. You guys had a great opportunity to showcase the school and the fan base and really the university in itself on national TV this past season when College Game Day came to Brookings. That was, of course, when you guys played North Dakota State. What's it been like being a part of that rivalry, Christian? How riled up does the team get? I'm sure that week itself feels a little bit different than any other game week.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that they're going to be the best team you play all year. You really got to rise to the occasion and still play your game, but you know that you can't make as many mistakes as you might get away with every other week. And they're a good team, and they're always going to be a good team. And I think, obviously, we're a good team, and I think we're going to be a good team for a long time too. So it's going to be interesting to see where that rivalry keeps going. I'm excited to watch all the guys, all my former teammates play, and continue to do well in that rivalry. So.
And, of course, South Dakota State, you guys are a part of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. They call it the SEC of the FCS, Christian. I would argue that the Valley overall, I should say, is more competitive from top to bottom. My next question was going to be, who do you think has been the best player that you've played against? You've already answered that in teammate Dallas Goddard, and you certainly cannot go wrong with that, the stellar career that he had as a Jackrabbit. But just talk about the conference in itself, Christian. I mean, being a part of such a competitive conference, knowing week in and week out you can't take an opponent lightly, whether they have a winning record or not, it's going to be a tough matchup. What's that been like over the past 4 years?
Yeah, like I said, it's the best conference in FCS for sure. And I think, going against teams every week and not being able to take, obviously, a week off, you really have to prepare the same every single week. And I think that's something that I'll take just kind of going into this next phase is just your preparation for each week is key. Ton of good players, a lot of talent going into the NFL, stuff like that. So, Missouri Valley will always be one of the best conferences in FCS for sure. So
again, he's 2020 NFL draft prospect, linebacker out of South Dakota State University, Christian Rozeboom. And Christian, when you hear that 2020 NFL draft prospect, what kind of goes through your mind? I mean, when did you say to yourself that you're going to pursue a professional football career full on?
Well, I definitely not in high school. I was going to college, play football because that's what I love, and I still love football. But going to get an education and then go on and do other things. But just the opportunities that came as I started playing at SDSU, and my Coach Rogers said, even before I even played, as my redshirt spring, after spring ball, he said, if you do what you need to do these next few years, you can play football for a living. And that was kind of caught me off guard right away. I was like, that's crazy. But, just working hard towards that because I saw that goal, made that a goal of mine. And, I've been pursuing it ever since he said that, I guess. That's kind of been in the back of my mind and something that's been important to me. And I just want to play football as long as I can just because I love it. So.
Absolutely, and I'm sure seeing some of your former teammates and even some of your former opponents go on and have success at the pro level, I'm sure that's even more encouraging to see that. Back in January, you had the opportunity to participate in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl out in Pasadena, California. How great of an experience was that for you, especially being labeled as a smaller school prospect, Christian, being able to match up and go up against some guys from Power 5 schools? How great of an experience was that going up against guys that, at the end of the day, have the same goal as you, and that's to make it professionally?
Right. I mean, it was an experience that I'll never forget. Just playing in the Rose Bowl, that was crazy. Just being in LA and all that, it was super fun. At the same time, it was good to get my name out there, my face out there. Like you said, being a smaller school guy and seeing what I do against competition that is the Power 5 schools, like you said. And just talking to a lot of teams there, super well. It was run just super well, super organized, and had a great time out there. So. And
were you able to get a feel as to how NFL teams are viewing you as a prospect in your meetings with scouts and teams in general, Christian? What's the feel? What's the vibe you're getting from these teams?
Well, I guess one of the things that I obviously understand is just being the player I am, that I'm not going to fit in some schemes, and that's fine. I don't need to fit for every single team. I just need to fit for one team, and whoever that is, making the most of that opportunity and just kind of running with it. Yeah, just talking to teams there was more, I guess, normal questions that scouts ask you. It's nothing too specific. It was a good experience to get to talking to scouts and working on that interview skill, stuff like that. So,
Christian, we're in Chicago, so I have to just throw this hypothetical out there. the Chicago Bears, a team known for their defensive play, even more specifically known for their linebacker play and their rich tradition of great linebackers, dating back to Dick Butkus, and then obviously more recently Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs. What would it be like to play for an organization with the rich tradition such as the Chicago Bears and what they have at the linebacker position, what they've produced at the linebacker position over the years? What would that be like? And I know you're from Iowa. There's a lot of Bears fans in Iowa. By chance, growing up, were you a Bears fan?
I was not a Bears fan, actually. My grandparents and my parents, my mom grew up in Denver, so I was a Broncos fan growing up. And that's something that people ask me, too, who hypothetically would you pick to play for and stuff like that? And honestly, I don't really have any answer. But yeah, playing for a team like the Bears, just the tradition, and it's something that would be really special, obviously. But at the end of the day, just being on a team and playing football, that's what I want to do, and just make the most of that opportunity for whichever team does pick me. So, of
course, the Bears have two veteran linebackers heading into free agency, Danny Trevathan and Nick Kwiatkowski, so certainly a team that could be in the market for a linebacker at some point in the 2020 NFL Draft. A few more questions for you, Christian, then we'll let you go. Now you're training for your, I believe, March 27th Pro Day at South Dakota State. Where are you currently training at, and what are some of the goals that you have in mind that you'd like to record come Pro Day?
So I'm up in Minneapolis training at Training House, and then my trainer's Bill Welly, who's an awesome trainer. I love what he's doing there and all the stuff that's come with it. As far as goals, I just kind of looked at the combine numbers and the averages, and I just kind of made goals in my own mind and what I want to run, what I want to get, and I think most of them are pretty attainable for me, and obviously the improvements that I've made these past couple of months have been big. And I think a big one too is just like the weight I come in at is big, just gaining a little bit but not too much where I'm losing speed, stuff like that.
And to that, the latest listing I have, Christian, is 6'2", 228. Can you just update us on that?
Yeah, so I was, last week I was, still 6'2", obviously, but 233.
Okay,
is what I weighed. So
awesome. All right, 6'2", 233. For those not familiar with your game, how would you describe it? What would you say is the biggest strength that you bring to the linebacker position?
I would say the biggest strength is just instincts, reading plays and making plays fast. And just the speed that I play at's the same the whole time. Getting to the ball, like you said earlier, every single time, and making plays once I get there, causing havoc, stuff like that. Just not overthinking stuff, just getting to the ball and playing ball.
And final question, let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're tuned into this very interview. Why should they want the linebacker out of South Dakota State University, Christian Rozeboom, a part of their team?
That's a pretty loaded question. I would just say the person that I am, obviously everyone's going to say that, but just my upbringing, everything that I value, my integrity, my hard work. It's just more than that, the mental side of it, working hard on the X's and O's, stuff like that, and doing well in that side of the ball too. And then at the end of the day, just being able to play. I think the tape shows that, and hopefully they see that too. Just someone that's going to play hard for them and just make the opportunity for whichever team it would be, just making the most of that. So.
Well, we're 50 days away from the start of the 2020 NFL Draft. Christian, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on all the success over the past 4 years, man. One of the best in the FCS, so congrats on that. And really looking forward to seeing what these next 50 days bring for you. Obviously, keeping a close eye on that March 27th Pro Day and, again, the 2020 NFL Draft in itself. So, Christian, thanks again, and best of luck, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.